In Umuoma village, sisters Adez and Amaka tumble into a magical grove via a mysterious well, guided by a sly rooster and muo. Their kindness and laziness shape their fates in this vibrant Nigerian folktale.
In the heart of Umuoma, a lively village surrounded by swaying palm trees and sprawling yam fields, lived Mama Ngozi, a widow known for her cunning ways. She despised work, preferring to lounge under a mango tree, sipping palm wine while others toiled. Her hut, though modest, buzzed with village gossip, as she schemed to live comfortably without lifting a finger. The villagers whispered about her laziness, but Mama Ngozi cared little, her sharp tongue silencing critics. Her only pride was her two daughters, whose lives she shaped with her favoritism, setting the stage for a tale of lessons learned. Mama Ngozi's daughters, Adez and Amaka, were as different as sun and moon. Adez, the elder, was a diligent weaver, her fingers dancing over looms to create vibrant Ankara fabrics that dazzled the eye. Amaka, the younger, was lazy, spending her days lounging on a raffia mat, dreaming of wealth without effort. While Adez's hands bore calluses from work, Amaka's was soft, untouched by labor. The village praised Adez's skill, but Amaka's charm won hearts with her sweet songs and coy smiles. Their differences fueled Mama Ngozi's bias, deepening the rift that would soon shape their destinies. Mama Ngozi showered Amaka with affection, calling her "my precious Okuko," treating her like a pampered chick. She saw Amaka's idleness as endearing, while Adez's hard work went unpraised. Adez was tasked with all the chores, pounding yam, fetching water from the stream, and weaving fabrics for sale. Adez, move faster. Mama would snap, while Amaka lounged, fanned by palm leaves. The villagers noticed but dared not speak, fearing Mama's sharp tongue. Adez bore the burden silently, her heart heavy but her spirit unbroken, knowing her skill kept the family fed, even as her mother's favoritism stung. Every afternoon, Adez trekked to Umuoma's bustling market, her woven fabric slung over her shoulder. The market hummed with traders haggling over kola nuts and smoked fish, while Adez's stall drew crowds. Her Ankara patterns, bursting with colors like ripe guavas, sold quickly to merchants heading to Onitsha. She bargained shrewdly, her coins clinking in a calabash, ensuring the family's survival. Meanwhile, Amaka and Mama Ngozi waited at home, never stepping foot in the market's dust. Adez's feet ached from the long walk, but her resolve never wavered, her work a quiet rebellion against her mother's neglect. When Adez returned from the market, sweat-soaked and weary, Mama Ngozi prepared lavish meals for Amaka, steaming egusi soup with fat chunks of goat meat, paired with pounded yam as smooth as clay. Amaka ate greedily, her laughter filling the hut. Adez, however, was left with scraps, burnt yam ends, watery stew, or a single fishbone. She ate in silence, her stomach rumbling, while Mama Ngozi ignored her. Adez's heart ached, but she refused to complain, finding solace in her weaving. Her resilience grew, even as her mother's neglect carved a quiet wound in her spirit. One bright morning, Adez sat by the village well, her favorite spot for weaving. The well's cool shade soothed her as she stitched a new fabric, her needle flashing like a firefly. Suddenly, a proud rooster, feathers gleaming like a chief's robe, leaped onto her head, crowing loudly. "Get off, you noisy bird!" Adez yelped, swatting at it. In the chaos, her needle and fabric slipped from her hands, tumbling into the well's dark depths. She gasped, peering down, her heart sinking. The tools were her lifeline, and their loss spelled trouble with Mama Ngozi's wrath. "Oh, chi em egbuo em," Adez wailed, clutching her wrapper. "Mama will flog me with a koboko if she finds out." The well's mouth mocked her, its depths hiding her precious needle and fabric. She imagined Mama Ngozi's fury, her voice sharper than a machete. Adez's eyes brimmed with tears, but she refused to give up. She paced around the well, her mind racing for a solution. The village children playing nearby paused, sensing her distress, but she waved them off. Her heart pounded, yet a spark of determination flickered. She would find a way to reclaim her tools. The rooster, still strutting nearby, cocked its head and clucked, "Use your head, child. Bucket, rope, fetch." Its voice was oddly wise, like an elder's. Eddies blinked, confused but desperate. She spotted the well's bucket, tied to a sturdy rope, dangling just within reach. Bucket? Could it work? She muttered, hope stirring. She grabbed the rope, her hands trembling, and lowered the bucket into the well's darkness, praying it would snag her tools. The rooster watched, its beady eyes glinting with mischief, as if it knew more than it let on. Edie's heart raced with possibility. As Edie leaned over the well, tugging the rope, the bucket swung wildly. Her foot slipped on the mossy stones, and with a scream, she tumbled forward, plunging into the well's depths. Down, down she fell, the cold air rushing past, her wrapper flapping like a bird's wings. She braced for a splash, but instead, she landed softly on a bed of moss. When she opened her eyes, she gasped. She was no longer in Umuoma. A strange, vibrant land stretched before her, glowing with fireflies and humming with unseen voices, pulling her into a magical adventure. Edie stood in a grove where flowers sang in sweet harmonies and streams giggled like children. The air smelled of ripe guavas, and the ground sparkled with cowrie-like stones. Palm trees swayed without wind, whispering secrets. Where am I? Edie wondered, her heart pounding with awe. Fireflies danced around her, lighting her path. She stepped forward, her bare feet sinking into soft earth, and felt a strange peace. This was no ordinary place, it was a realm of spirits, where every leaf and stone seemed alive. Edie's fear melted, replaced by curiosity, as she ventured deeper into the unknown. A wise old tortoise, wearing a tiny straw hat, shuffled toward Edie, his shell gleaming like polished wood. "Good child," he said, his voice slow and deep, "my yam is stuck in the soil. Will you help an old one dig it out?" His eyes twinkled with hope. Edie knelt, her hands still dusty from the well. She dug eagerly, her fingers breaking the earth until a fat yam emerged. The tortoise clapped his flippers, delighted. "Bless you, child. Your heart is kind," he said, offering a glowing kola nut as thanks, which Edie accepted gratefully. Edie tucked the kola nut into her wrapper and continued through the grove. The tortoise's gratitude warmed her heart, reminding her of her own resilience. She hummed a market song, her steps light. The grove seemed to approve, its flowers nodding as she passed. She thought of a mocker, who would have scoffed at the tortoise's plea, and shook her head. Kindness, Edie knew, was its own reward. The kola nut pulsed faintly in her pocket, as if alive, and she sensed it held magic. With renewed purpose, she walked on, ready to face whatever the enchanted land offered. Further along, Edie spotted a kola nut tree, its leaves curling and drooping. "Water me, kind one, or I'll wither," it pleaded, its voice faint. Edie's heart softened, she couldn't let it die. She hurried to a nearby stream, its water clear as crystal, and filled a calabash. Kneeling, she poured the water at the tree's roots, watching it soak into the earth. The tree sighed, its leaves unfurling. "You've saved me," it whispered, dropping a sparkling seed into her palm. Edie smiled, tucking the seed beside the kola nut, her spirit lifted by her deed. The kola nut tree stood tall, its leaves now vibrant green, swaying as if dancing. "Thank you, kind one. Your heart is pure," it said, its voice stronger. Edie felt a warmth spread through her, as if the grove itself embraced her. The sparkling seed in her pocket glowed faintly, joining the kola nut's gentle pulse. She looked around, marveling at the grove's beauty. Flowers winked at her, and fireflies swirled in patterns. Edie knew she was in a sacred place, where kindness was rewarded. With a grateful nod to the tree, she continued her journey, her courage growing. Adiz reached a mud hut with a thatched roof, its walls adorned with cowrie shells. An old woman stood outside, her wrapper shimmering with starlight. Her eyes gleamed like moonlight, and her presence felt otherworldly, like Memi Water, the river spirit. Adiz's heart raced, stories of spirits filled her mind, some kind, some vengeful. The woman's gaze softened, sensing her fear. "Come, child," she said, her voice like a lullaby. Adiz hesitated, clutching her kola nut and seed, but curiosity won. She stepped closer, drawn to the woman's aura, sensing this encounter would change her fate. "I am Enenimio, mother of spirits," the woman said, her voice echoing with power. "Do not fear. Care for my hut, sweep it daily, lay palm fronds on my mat each morning, and you may stay." Adiz, lost in this strange land, saw no path home. Her mother's harsh words echoed, but Enenimio's kindness soothed her. "I'll stay," she said, bowing. The hut glowed faintly, as if approving. Adiz felt a spark of hope. She could prove her worth here, far from Mom and Dozy's scorn. Enenimio smiled, and Adiz knew her journey had purpose. Adiz threw herself into her tasks, sweeping the hut until its floor shone like a river stone. She fetched water from the stream, her calabash brimming, and arranged fresh palm fronds on Enenimio's mat each dawn. The work was familiar, like her chores in Umuoma, but here it felt sacred. Enenimio watched, her eyes warm with approval. Each evening, she cooked spicy jollof rice, its aroma filling the hut, and shared it with Adiz. The meals nourished her body and soul, and Adiz felt valued, her heart swelling with pride in her labor's purpose. Days blended into weeks, and though Adiz thrived under Enenimio's care, a pang of homesickness grew. She missed Umyoma's market songs, the chatter of children, even Mom and Dozy's sharp voice. At night, she gazed at the grove stars, clutching her kola nut and seed, wondering if she'd ever return. One evening, she approached Enenimio, her voice soft. "I love it here, but my heart longs for home." Enenimio's eyes softened, understanding her pain. "You've served well, child," she said, her voice a gentle breeze. Adiz's heart lifted, she sensed her journey was nearing its end. Enenimio led Adiz to a golden gate, its surface shimmering like the sun on a river. "For your hard work and kind heart, you are rewarded," she said. As Adiz stepped through, gold coins rained down, clinging to her wrapper, and a dazzling Ankara fabric draped over her shoulders, its patterns alive with color. She gasped, her reflection in the gate showing a radiant figure. The kola nut and seed pulsed in her pocket, their magic fulfilled. Enenimio's smile was a blessing, and Adiz felt her spirit soar, ready to return transformed. Enenimio handed Adiz her lost needle and fabric, now enchanted to weave faster and finer. "Go, child, and shine," she said, her voice a melody. Adiz clutched the tools, tears of gratitude in her eyes. Enenimio covered her eyes with starlit hands. "Count to 3, she whispered. 1, 2, 3, Adiz said, her heart pounding. When she opened her eyes, she stood before her hut in Umuoma, gold gleaming on her wrapper. The village air smelled of roasted corn, and she knew she was home, forever changed by her journey. Adiz's return caused a stir in Umuoma. Mom and Dozy and Amoka gaped, their jaws dropping like overripe pawpaws. "Adiz, where did you get such riches?" Mom and Dozy demanded, her eyes wide with greed. Adiz stood tall, her gold-laden wrapper glinting in the sun. Villagers gathered, whispering in awe. She recounted her adventure, the enchanted grove, the tortoise, the coconut tree, and Enenimio's rewards. Amoka pouted, jealous of her sister's glory. Mom and Dozy's mind churned, scheming to replicate Adiz's fortune. Adiz, however, felt peace, her heart full from her trials and triumphs. Mom Ngozi's eyes gleamed with greed. "Amaka, you must go to the well and do the same," she declared, shoving a needle and fabric into Amaka's hands. Amaka, eager for gold without work, smirked. "I'll return richer than Edis," she boasted, ignoring her sister's warning glance. She ran to the well, her heart pounding with visions of wealth. The villagers watched, some pitying her folly, others curious. Edis sighed, knowing Amaka's laziness would lead to trouble. Mom Ngozi clapped, dreaming of riches, as Amaka prepared to leap into the well, her greed blinding her to the lessons ahead. Amaka tossed the needle and fabric into the well and jumped, landing in the enchanted grove. The flowers sang, but she ignored them, impatient for gold. The tortoise shuffled forward, asking for help with his yam. "Dig it yourself, old crawler," Amaka snapped, brushing past. The tortoise sighed, his eyes sad. Amaka strutted on, her wrapper flapping, oblivious to the grove's magic. She felt no awe, only entitlement, believing riches awaited her. The fireflies dimmed, as if sensing her heart's hardness. Amaka's journey, unlike Edis', was marked by selfishness, setting her on a perilous path. Amaka met the coconut tree, its leaves wilting. "Water me," it begged. "I won't dirty my hands for a silly tree," she scoffed, walking away. At Nnemuo's hut, she agreed to work, but her laziness surfaced. She swept half-heartedly, leaving dust piles, and scattered palm fronds carelessly on the mat. The hut grew dim, its magic fading. Nnemuo's eyes flashed with displeasure. Amaka yawned, dreaming of gold, oblivious to her duties. Her neglect angered the spirits, and the grove whispered warnings she ignored. Her greed blinded her, ensuring a reward far different from Edis'. Nnemuo, furious, led Amaka to the golden gate. "You shirked your duties and lacked kindness," she said, her voice like thunder. As Amaka stepped through, mud and thorns rained down, coating her wrapper and hair. She shrieked, slipping in the filth. "This isn't gold," she wailed. Nnemuo vanished, her lesson clear. Amaka counted to 3 and awoke in Umuoma, muddy and ashamed. Villagers laughed, and Edis pitied her. Humbled, Amaka learned to weave with love, joining Edis in the market. The sisters lived happily, their laughter echoing through Umuoma, united by hard work. Like, subscribe, and share to explore more vibrant Nigerian folktales like Edis and Amaka's magical journey.